Today we're diving into a really big question, something that challenges a core assumption for a lot of people of faith. Is salvation just a single moment in the past? Or is it a lifelong journey of allegiance?
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. The central question we're looking at today is this. Is saving faith a one-time event? That moment where you make a decision, maybe you pray a prayer, and that's it? It's a done deal? Or is there maybe more to the story?
So, the way this whole debate gets framed is around these two really powerful ideas. On one hand, you've got faith as a memory, right? A past decision. And on the other, you have faith as an active, enduring allegiance. We're going to really unpack the case for that second view.
Okay, first up, a moment or a lifetime. We're starting with what the source material calls the modern reduction of faith, a view that's probably pretty familiar to a lot of us.
So, this is the idea of faith as that single decision point. You cross a line, and that one moment kind of becomes the main event, the memory you look back on. And look, it makes sense why this is so popular. It's simple to explain, it's efficient when you're talking to people about faith. But the big question that gets raised is that really the full picture? Is that what the Bible actually presents? Which brings us right to our second section, faith as covenant loyalty. This is the paper's big counter-narrative. So if it's not just a one-time decision, what is it? Well, the alternative presented here is this powerful concept, faith as covenant loyalty. This is a total shift in thinking. It's not a transaction, It's a deep relational bond. It's less like signing a contract and a whole lot more like a marriage vow, something defined by ongoing loyalty and allegiance. And this really reframes the whole conversation. Because if faith is about loyalty, then the opposite of faith isn't what we usually think it is. It's not doubt. No. The real opposite of faith is defection. It's walking away. It's abandoning your allegiance. Okay, so with that framework in our heads, let's move to section 3 and trace this whole idea through the unfolding biblical story from Genesis all the way to Revelation. So we start in the Old Testament, and what we find is pretty clear. Faith was never just this passive mental thing. Not at all. It was always about active allegiance, especially in a world that was just packed with other choices and rival loyalties. I mean, just look at the verbs that get used over and over again. Hold fast, cling, walk after, serve. These aren't the words you use for something that happens once and is over. No way. This is the language of sustained, active, ongoing loyalty. And take this famous line from Habakkuk, "The righteous shall live by his faith." We hear that a lot, right? But in its original context, it's not just about that first moment of belief. It's about faithfulness under pressure. It's about the kind of enduring trust that gets you through the hard times, through judgment and deep uncertainty. Now, this whole idea doesn't just stop in the Old Testament. Not even close. When we get to the Gospels, Jesus himself picks up this exact same theme of continuation and endurance, and he really doubles down on it. He says, "If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples." He makes this direct link, see? True discipleship isn't just about starting the race. It's proven by abiding, by remaining, by continuing on the path. And honestly, it doesn't get much clearer than this quote. The one who endures to the end will be saved. I mean, wow. The point being made here is that a statement like this doesn't make a whole lot of sense if salvation is this thing that's totally locked in from day one, no matter what you do later. Okay, so this isn't just something Jesus talked about. The apostles, the ones writing to the very first churches, they echo this exact same message. The drumbeat is the same. Continue, endure, hold fast. Seriously, the pattern is just undeniable. You look at the epistles, and it's all over the place. Continue in the faith. Remain steadfast. Hold fast confidence. Be faithful unto death. From Colossians to Acts to Hebrews to Revelation, the message is incredibly consistent. The sheer repetition here tells you this isn't some minor side note. This is central. And the book of Hebrews really puts a fine point on it. It says believers are God's house, but then you get this tiny, crucial, conditional word if. If they hold fast their confidence. That little word if, that's the language of a covenant relationship. All right, I know what you might be thinking. What about the objections to all this? So let's dive into section 4 and see how the source material addresses the one-moment faith perspective head-on. And here's the big one, right? The most common objection. Doesn't this make salvation based on our works? If I have to endure, if I have to persevere, doesn't that mean I'm earning my salvation through my own effort? The answer given is a really clear no. The argument is that we're looking at it the wrong way. Perseverance isn't some separate work that you add on top of faith. The crucial point is this: perseverance is your faith, just in action, over the long haul.
And this comparison really helps, I think. This whole idea isn't about some kind of moral scorekeeping, like God's up there with a clipboard just waiting for you to mess up. No, it's about covenant loyalty. So the fundamental question isn't, are you perfect? It's, are you still loyal?
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Section 5, why does any of this matter? What's the big deal? Why is recovering this vision of faith actually important? And this is such a powerful conclusion. This way of thinking doesn't make grace smaller, it actually makes it bigger. The source says it so well. Grace does not produce passive security, but enduring allegiance to the Lord who saves. You hear that? Grace isn't some free pass that makes loyalty irrelevant. It's the very thing that fuels our ability to be loyal for a lifetime.
And that really leaves us with something to chew on, doesn't it? A final question for all of us to think about. What does it mean for our faith to be a living allegiance? If it's not just a memory of something that happened once, but a living, breathing loyalty, what does that change about how we live today?